Hey everyone, I am your astrologer Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here is your daily forecast for the day of Thursday, June 14th, 2018. Before I get started, I do just want to say thank you so much for all the kind and sweet birthday messages from all of you. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot. They were all so sweet, and I'm just so thankful for all of your love, kindness, patience, and support that you all have had for me in the past few months. Almost been a year since I've been doing this. Okay, so I really do appreciate that. Now for your horoscope, what we've got today, the moon. It's actually going to enter Cancer at 1 a.m. this morning, as you can see it right here in this chart. When the moon is in Cancer, it brings our attention to our emotions, what it is that we are feeling on the inside. Also with Cancer being like the lowest part of the chart, private matters, personal matters that we don't show other people a lot. Also with Cancer, you do get home and family come into focus as well. All right, so that's just to set the stage, what is going on with us today. Now at 3 a.m. Mountain Time, this moon in Cancer will make a sextile over to Uranus and Taurus. I do like to think that's good. I like sextiles, can give you an opportunity, normally with sextiles, to get some insights, perhaps an unexpected insight. In regards to what it is that you need to feel more comfortable in your life, Cancer, to feel more stable, secure, and confident, Taurus. So I do think I really like this at 3 a.m. A chance for you to hopefully understand, especially emotionally, what it is you need to feel better in your life, to start to feel more grounded, more rooted, more comfortable in where it is that you are. Okay, the hard part comes 2 hours later, so not soon, not too soon, or not pretty soon. Maybe I'll say that. The problem comes pretty soon after, 2 hours later at 5 a.m. because at 5 a.m. Mountain Time, the moon moves further through Cancer and then comes into a square with Chiron, which I've been talking about these aspects because Mercury made those yesterday, a little bit the day before, and still a little bit today. And what this could bring at 5 a.m. are perhaps some uncomfortable feelings. What we're doing is we're getting insights with the sextile and what we need to feel comfortable and what we need emotionally in order to feel better about our lives, about who we are, about what's happened. And maybe with the square to Chiron, we don't like some of these insights we're receiving. Maybe we like them because they're helping us understand better what's going on with us emotionally, what we need. But maybe we don't like them because then we have to do things differently, or we have to be patient in order to get some of the things that we want. Or maybe because now we don't know how to do the things in order to bring the security back into our life in some way, okay? And we could want to push to make things happen with Chiron and Aries, with Mars in the South Node, and I think the moon in this spot today, especially with Mercury there, saying you have to learn to listen to your heart, your spirit, your soul, to let your heart and your spirit lead. And sometimes that can be a little bit hard, especially at 5 a.m. that we might be feeling, well, how do I know that my spirit's telling me the right thing? If I follow my spirit, then what happens? Then I'm not going to be able to do this other thing. So I think there's a lot of that could be coming in at 5 a.m. and just needing to listen to your heart, trust your instincts, especially Cancer. Cancer's a very psychic sign, even though the moon's at the beginning degrees. But needing to trust your instincts, trust your intuition, even if it means you don't quite know how to do things or where things will go in the end with this square to Chiron. All right. Then an hour later, 6 a.m., all this stuff happening very closely together. The moon moves a little bit further through Cancer and comes into a conjunction with Mercury. And what that can do then is start to engage the logical mind with Mercury, more thinking, more communicating, more talking about what it is that you're feeling, perhaps what's going on. But in the few hours before the conjunction to Mercury is that we get a knowing, an internal sense, feelings that come up. And then maybe once 6 a.m. comes, the moon crosses Mercury, we start to consciously understand what's going on, to communicate about it, to try to think about some stuff in order to work it out. I think that's been a big theme, especially with the Gemini new moon yesterday, especially with the sun still in Gemini. But I still do believe there's just more that we're trying to work out about our emotions, to understand our emotions, to have a healthy emotional responses. That's slowly, I think, starting to come together, and that's going to be a big thing, I think, happening with this new moon, which will continue until I think, usually new moons last for 6 months, so I think it definitely will last for 6 months, and especially until we get the full moon in another 2 weeks. All right, so that's what we've got there. Then at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, so a few hours later, the moon moves further through Cancer and comes into an opposition with Saturn. What that could then bring are choices and decisions. If not choices and decisions, then some more serious thoughts or conversations or serious things that we're thinking about in regards to who we are, what's going on inside us, what we need to feel more comfortable in life in some way. All right, with Saturn and Capricorn, we may have lots of responsibilities, lots of work, lots of things that we've been trying to do, especially since the beginning of this year. And the moon being in Cancer, especially with Mercury being there, is saying, okay, well, now you got to figure out how to be comfortable with everything that's happened. Now you have to address some of your emotions before you can get back to work once again, before you can do some of the things that you need. And is really asking you to get the balance right here between doing things, but making sure that your heart is in the right place and that you have some of the things you need to feel more comfortable in the process. Okay, so there could be some choices or decisions that come in there. I don't know if this will be, if you do make any choices today, the end all be all. I think if you make any choices today, it may again just be emotional, the rumination, trying to work some things out on the inside, because Mercury is going to be in this spot, I think, it's almost already Friday. So there actually could be decisions now, but Mercury will be more exact in this opposition tomorrow. And so I think what we're doing today is we're preparing ourselves emotionally, and I think we're starting to get the ideologically of what we need to do and how we need to do it to feel much better in life and the way that we want and need. And I think today we're starting to open the doors and pave the way for some serious conversations to come, if not today, then tomorrow, with the other people in our lives or with ourselves about what we need to feel better. Okay? Yeah, I think that's what's going on. It's a really interesting thing having this Gemini Cancer vibe, you know, because we had the new moon in Gemini yesterday, the ruler of the new moon, Mercury, in the sign of Cancer, and now we've got the moon, the ruler of Cancer, kind of with Mercury now, making all the aspects Mercury's been making for the past few days and will make, and Mercury, of course, is the ruler of Gemini. So there's a lot of the head and the heart, working it out, getting it right, not just thinking things, but understanding emotionally what's going on and bringing the two together, that I think is important. And I think we're starting to understand more and more what we need in order to feel more comfortable in life. And we may have to make some choices, some decisions, have some hard conversations in order to sustain and bring more of that comfort in. And I think today we may need to make some of those at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. And we may continue to make some of these choices or to work some of the details out about some of these things that we're thinking about over the next few days. All right. Hope that made sense, just because the moon and Mercury again are tag teaming this opposition to Saturn, which is going to come exact soon. All right, then after that happens, the next aspect is at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. I don't always talk about quincunxes, but maybe I'll mention it here. The moon, as it moves further through Cancer, is going to quincunx Mars and Aquarius. So again, we're trying to build more comfort in our life, to be okay with things, to get right with ourselves emotionally, which may require us to make some choices about our life, about where we see our life going, about our reputation, so that we can feel better. And we may also, with the quincunx to Mars, have to see our future very differently, especially also Aquarius too is a very social sign, having to interact with people, groups of people, very differently, in different ways we haven't thought of, so that we can start to build more comfort back into our lives, even if it means we need to spend some time alone. Sometimes Cancer needs time alone. Even if it means we have to see a different future for ourselves. I think that may be required a little bit of a readjustment here at 2 p.m. as we pay attention more to our emotional, our private, our personal needs than we have the past few months of the year. All right, and that's all that's going on today. Tomorrow, I'll go a little bit into tomorrow. What'll happen at 2 a.m. Mountain Time. The moon then will move further through Cancer and it will come into a trine to Jupiter. About 3 hours after that, the moon will then come into a trine with Neptune, again, which will make it a grand water trine. Which I do like. So I think tomorrow early in the morning, that can give you a chance to understand some of your feelings, to be more at peace, find more of that peace and that wholeness perhaps that we were searching for today, needing to make decisions on and feeling comfortable about, but kind of not feeling comfortable about. And I think tomorrow, if you can maybe sit with some of this stuff that's a little bit hard, even if you're kind of oscillating back and forth between different feelings, I do like to think that very, very early tomorrow, around 12 a.m. and 3 a.m. there will be a chance for you to hopefully feel better, feel more at peace with your life if there were some things that came up today that were a little bit of a challenge, and needing to not be afraid to sit through and work some of the things that come up if there are some uncomfortable feelings, hard decisions, so that tomorrow morning you will have done the work and can start to hopefully get a little glimmer of hope, of understanding, and of peace that maybe was a little bit harder to find today. Okay, so that's what I see going on there. Now, other stuff happen in the background. We do have, I just talked a lot about this. It's always kind of weird when the moon like touches something that is just now coming into like an aspect. That's Mercury making a sextile to Uranus and a square to Chiron, which I did just talk about a lot. So lots of conversations, lots of things going on in the mind, especially about our feelings, what we need to feel more emotionally comfortable in life, need to feel more rooted, more grounded, need to feel better about home and about our family. And I think we're getting insights about what we need, but maybe some of those insights are a little bit unsettling. It's making it hard for us perhaps to do some of the things that it is that we want to do, or maybe we realize we have to do some things right that we don't want to do in order to get the things we really need. Okay, so I think that's what's happening there. Venus also moved into Leo, I think yesterday, bringing more of a focus on relationships, how you can be happy in your relationships with other people as well. Venus coming into a square with Uranus and a trine with Chiron makes it kind of a bad spot for Venus to be in. Maybe some unexpected things can come up in relationships and with money that do not feel that great. Maybe you yourself, since Venus kind of rules our sense of beauty and comfort in life, maybe as well, it's hard for you to find the comfort in life that it is that you want, just feeling a little bit unsettled in some way. Could also be if something unexpected doesn't happen to you, maybe you yourself wanting to break free from old value systems, old money situations, old relationships in order to move forward. Okay, I think I've mentioned this in a previous video. I think we're getting insights on what we need to feel better in life, but we're realizing that in order to feel better in life, we again have to do some things we don't want to do. We may need to upset relationships. We may need to upset our financial situation or deal with some of that stuff so that we ultimately can later, maybe next week when the dust settles, finally start to feel better, even if it was a little bit of a rearrangement in the process. Okay, so that's what's going on there. Mars on the South Node, so again, could be feeling a little bit frustrated. Could be feeling like it's hard for you to do the things you want, just because we really do need to listen to our heart. We really do need to find comfort in our life and stop pushing. I think being key and needing the right to stop pushing. If doors aren't opening for you, it's not a matter to just keep jamming the door open. It's just a matter of, I think, regrouping, figuring out what you need to feel comfortable, and kind of speaking your truth and what's on your heart. All right, we also do have Jupiter in a trine with Neptune. Now, that's been happening for quite some time because they're both slow-moving planets, I think, as well, helping you to get more spiritual insights, feel better, or to hopefully make sense of things internally. I think there's a lot of things inside that we're trying to work out, especially now with a bunch of planets about to move into Cancer. We're about to have like a partial solar eclipse in Cancer as well. So I think a lot of it that we're working out now is internally. Like the first half of the year was like outward stuff, like a lot of stuff just happening to us outwardly, big changes in our life very publicly, the direction we were going, and a lot of things happening. And I think now a lot of it is like, okay, now that all of this has happened, like, how do I feel about this? What does it mean for me personally and internally? Where do I go from here? How do I process this emotionally? I think that we're trying to work out. I think there's a real opportunity to do that coming in, but it's just hard because we still have other things that we need to take care of. Even though we're trying to process things internally, we still have responsibilities we can't just neglect. And we still have things going on in the mind that we need to make sure support what we're feeling inside. Okay, so I think that's all I want to mention there for you today. Kind of an interesting alignment. Trying to feel comfortable. I really do think trying to feel comfortable, deal with our emotions, but in order to find the comfort we want, either having to sacrifice some other things that we want or do some things we don't want to do, perhaps, in order to find the comfort, the confidence, the stability that we need. All right, now your card for the week, the day, excuse me, is the Emperor upright. This is interesting because we got a lot of planets in Cancer, but I, for some reason, see this card as a Capricorn card. And I think the Emperor is saying structure, discipline, routine, protection. I mean, Cancer and Capricorn are opposites. They do complete each other. Yeah, I think that's what's going on. I mean, maybe that's what it is. We're trying to figure out what we need to feel better in life. And I think the key today is going to be structure. Maybe with all this stuff going on and emotional signs, we could get very emotional. We could get lost in our emotions. It's not a bad thing. Like, emotions have a purpose. But there does come a time when maybe after you've thought things, felt things, that more structure is needed, more discipline is needed in your life. And I think that's what this card is saying, especially as we're getting closer and closer to Mercury opposing Saturn, which I think it will do tomorrow, which the moon will do today. And I think this card is saying, if you're finding today that your emotions are getting the best of you, or that you're just aimless because of so much going on inside, for better or for worse, that you're trying to make sense of, then I would definitely say with this card, what routine can you put in place? What do you need to do? Maybe what decision, what choice do you need to make in order to bring the structure back in so that you can feel the way that it is that you want to feel? Maybe as well planning with this. Maybe if right now you're like, well, I just got an unexpected news came up with this Venus thing. Maybe if there's something unexpected that came up, then this card also says, okay, that's fine. Something unexpected came up. How can you plan and how can you strategize a little bit with this card so that this won't be chaotic forever, so that you can minimize the damage from this unexpected thing that has occurred? All right, and I think if you do that, and if you try to figure out how to protect yourself, but maybe in a way that has a little bit more structure and discipline involved, I think it will help you in the end, perhaps to deal with some of these really emotional times going on within us that we're trying to work out. All right, so that's what I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching my horoscope. If you like it, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share with your friends, and I will talk to you later.